the terrorists could be immediately neutralized. I'd also like to point out that for several months, the government has been implementing every kind of measure needed to protect the safety of French people. And along with the President, François Hollande, and the Prime Minister, we have maintained our security at a very high level. For instance, 2 acts that have reinforced the government's ability to act against terrorism have been adopted. A 3rd act relating to our intelligence service was approved by Parliament yesterday definitively, and that will enable our intelligence forces in the fight against terrorism to enjoy new resources that they sorely lacked until now. I'd also like to report that throughout France, under my responsibility, as well as the prefects, a powerful wave of protection has been introduced to protect religious sites, in particular French people who are targeted by terrorist acts, more precisely. I'd also like to say that after our country lost many jobs and resources in our security forces, the Prime Minister and the President have decided in January to increase significantly the compensation paid to our law enforcement services. That's true also in terms of the number of positions that have been created. 330 million euros was allocated to our intelligence forces to enable them to carry out their task. Such exceptional measures once again reflects the government's determination to ensure, in these particularly tough period of time for France, a very high level of protection for the French. In view of this morning's drama, a new ordeal for our country, once again call, just like President Hollande said, call on dignity and responsibility and the gathering of everybody who in our country is attached to the values of the Republic and are aware of the way in which the country has mobilized to face off the terrorist risk. I'll have deeply felt fought for the victim of this terrorist attack, an innocent person who was murdered and in an abject manner decapitated, as well as the victims of the terrorist attacks in January. Given the particular situation facing our country, the violence of such terrorist attacks and the absolutely repulsive nature of these terrorist attacks, I would like once again to emphasize that our country will be even stronger if everybody who speaks in public can do so with dignity and by holding back. Could you tell us something about the victim? How old was he? This person reportedly lives close to Lyon. I'm saying reportedly because we're carrying out the ultimate checks, and as long as we don't have definitive data, we need to be very cautious. So, in fact, he's talking about the terrorist who carried out the attack. He has been followed by the French police since 2006. He's had been in touch with the sort of Salafist movement, but had not been detected as being involved in any terrorist activity, did not have any criminal record, unlike other individuals who carried out such crimes in the last few months. He wasn't closely watched recently. No, he had no longer been followed since 2008. Since 2008, 2010, it was clear that he was increasingly radicalized and in touch with the Salafist movement, but there was no data showing that he was in touch with terrorists. Currently, a lot of forces are working throughout France on the basis of the instructions I've given them to monitor everybody who seems to be being radicalized, and in particular in touch with anybody who has any link whatever with terrorist activities. And that wasn't the case with the person who carried out this attack this morning, from what we know. And ISIS, any link with ISIS? Well, there were flags that are going to be analysed. We haven't yet translated what was written on these flags. The investigation is underway, and once we have that information, of course, the prosecutor will comment on them. I cannot give you any precise information on that point for the simple reason that there might be more people who will be arrested. Why was this plant targeted, the air product plant? I can't answer that question. I've given you all the information I have right now. If during the afternoon more information appears, well, of course, the prosecutor from the Paris court and I myself will communicate that information as we get it. But as always, when we're dealing with such serious actions, we cannot give any information that has not been very precisely checked. The investigation has just started. This investigation needs to be carried out in compliance with the provisions of the law, and in particular will do so will be supervised by the anti-terrorist court in Paris. An investigation is underway, and as always, when such serious acts occur, we will communicate the information we have with regard to that investigation as we receive it, and it is confirmed. We cannot say anything approximate in relation with such occurrences.